So when they load that roll, they want to load it somewhere between the end of the roll and those belts.
I don't know, man.
And then she's going to bring it up to the cut slot, turn the edge sensor switch on to activate the edge sensors, which will bring that roll over to these sensors right here. Right, the two little holes right here with two sensors right here that track the edge of the carpet as it goes through.
Yep.
So she's going to press edit, and then she'll put in with a numerical pad the size, and then she'll press enter, and that'll blink and lock in the cut length, which this is 44 feet 6 inches. Okay, then she'll press reset here to make sure she's all zeros when she starts rolling at the very beginning. Okay,
Okay. And
she'll flip her switch to dual. Bring the edge of the carpet over to that position, flip the handle over. As she's rolling up there, if they get a little slack in there, she'll turn the single dual switch to single just for a second to keep the slack out as it rolls up. And it'll slow down and shut off at the proper cut length. And she's going to flip over the cut clamp and activate the cutter.
Go print mark on.
Yeah, now she'll have to reset the counter so it'll start running again. Now she's ready to wrap the roll on, tape the roll on this side. So she'll stick her tape in there, and then she'll use the foot cable down here to roll that tape.
can I drop it?
Yes. She'll release the latch. She'll roll it on the ground. These are all the switches that control the machine. This button here, the load cradle, moves where you load the rolls, it moves it back and forth with the flip of the switch, so you can position it manually. We also have the edge sensor device, which actually turns on those sensors and activates those so that the edge of the carpet will stay in between the two. It wants to cover the first one, but if it comes too far this way, it'll go back, it'll move it automatically back and forth. So that's what the edge sensor does.
Okay.
The load feed controls our load, what we call the load side, where you load the rolls and it'll go forward and reverse. We also have a switch on here for load cable, which is the cable that runs full length on both sides of the machine. That controls the direction. So right now it's in reverse. You step on it, it comes this way. You flip this switch to forward, it will go forward that way. Over here we've got our roll-up feed, which controls the roll-up side of the machine, forward and reverse. And they both have speed controls. This little dial right here controls the speed. Clockwise increases the speed, counterclockwise slows it down. In the single dual, in single, both sides work separately and independently. When you flip to dual, the roll-up feed controls both sides. And then our reverse roll switch changes direction on this side. If you wanted to roll this on a core fuzzy side out, where you're exposing the backing, instead of rolling it up the normal way, you would flip this switch and it would change the direction on which what these rollers do. And then lastly is, or not lastly, but next is our cutter switch. This cutter clamp has to be down for the cutter to activate. Flip it one direction, it comes this way. You raise this up, it automatically stops the blade. So it'll go both directions. So and that's it right there. When I raise up on the handle, it does. This is a safety feature to keep you from getting cut. And then the last switch is going to be emergency stop switch. If you get any kind of problems, they just push down on this button. It kills the power to the machine, and then they raise it back up when they get ready to go again.
To be able to give it that momentum to turn. If you don't, it'll do what it just did. It'll bunch up right here. Then once you give it a little bit of momentum, down.
So if you get any kind of bubble, and mainly it's going to be back here between this measuring wheel and here, but it also can be anywhere in here. Any kind of bubble raised up a little bit, then she wants to go to single on here to stop that side to get the slack out of it. So when she hits it to single, it basically stops that side rolling and allows it to really tighten up. And as the roll gets bigger, and that side gets smaller, then it's going to automatically keep the slack out as it goes through. So when she gets ready to roll this up, this needs to be latched so she just can flip it over and start the roll-up process. After she's made her cut, she's got a roll here that needs to be discharged. She's going to unlatch it. Basically, she's going to lift up, release this, and let this come out so that she can get that roll off. As far as safety on the machine, the biggest thing to worry about is pinch points. So if you were to step on this cable, activate the switch. So if you stepped on this cable, this roll is going to turn this way. So if you had some clothes or something, your hand could get pinched down in here. So you want to be careful not to have loose clothing that would get caught in here as this machine's rolling through to the other side. This does have a safety. This foot cable is a safety device. Kind of when you step off of it, it's going to quit turning. So, but if you've got your foot on it, it's going to continue to turn. The same on the other side. You'll have, as these rollers roll and turn the carpet over here, till you have pinch points where you could get hung up in it, so you want to be careful not to have any loose covers or stick your hand in anywhere in here as the machine's running or turning. And that's pretty much it, other than just want to make sure you don't get it when they go to lower this cutter clamp, that you don't have your hand or anything anywhere near that when it comes down. The only other thing too is you'll make sure if you do access the electrical component panel that this switch is turned off when you open it up, so that it kills all the power going into the machine. These are our guards that kind of cover everything that's got a chain that turns in here. So the only safety issue we'd have is you just want to make sure if these guards are removed for any reason that no one gets around those chains when it's in operation. Same thing here too. This cover will open up so that they can actually change the blades on the cutting machine. And so if that blade's down on this end, and same thing with this down, there's chains and sprockets that can be pinch points, so they don't want to operate that machine when this guard is down. So the safe thing to do would be turn the emergency stop switch off down there anytime you're working down on this end of the machine, change blades or doing anything else on it. So that's another thing we can do is we'll put it down here and I'll show you how to change the blades. Turn that off. So this has two thumb screws that hold the blade holder, what we call the blade holder, which is what actually holds the blades. So this is an old blade holder, and it's completely worn right here. So this is a new one, and you see it doesn't have the groove where all that filament and stuff is. Now these blades are still good on one side. They're so long that they'll cut on both sides. So we're dull here, but we haven't been cut here. So we're going to take these out and flip them over and put them in the new blade holder. So to do that, we're going to use this to remove the blade. And remembering that they're extremely sharp.
Right.
It's got a lot of fiber in it, which is nice. It's pretty good stuff. So again, this is two-piece. We're going to remove this one. We're going to slide the blade up in there like so. Slide this blade up in here like so. And then these two little pins will go on each side to hold the blade in place. And again, you just want to be super careful that it doesn't slip out of your hand when you're putting it in, but you're basically going to put it up in here and get your one thumb screw started. In the hole and snug it up. And bring the second one in. And then take a little pair of pliers and just kind of snug them up so they don't vibrate loose as it's cutting.
does a blade generally last?
They'll last to, normally you have to flip them after about 100 cuts, depending on what the backing of the material is. But normally about 200 cuts per set of blades. Get 100, flip them over, and you'll cut off the other end of them for about 200 cuts. And we cover this up, put our screws back.